And welcome back once again to the 50 Cent Tour. Now you might recognize these guys if you're a 50 Cent Tour aficionado. This is Jim Hanna and Steve Fox with the TWRA. We also have another TWRA agent. He's back off in the woods yonder. I guess he's looking for turkeys, Steve.
I think he's hiding from the camera.
That may be happening too. We're going to do something super interesting today. We've been talking about doing this, fellas, for a long time. Explain to our viewers what they're going to hopefully see.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. Well, what we're doing here is we're baiting for turkeys to trap turkeys, or actually we're going to shoot a rocket net over them. And this is the way that the Wildlife Agency moves turkeys around in different parts of the state, in different parts of the areas.
Now, you said a rocket net. Now, what is a rocket net?
Okay, we have a net which will have some rockets attached to it with black powder in them. And when we get some turkeys feeding on this bait here at our feet, corn is what we're using for bait. When we get those on the bait and get the situation correct, then we'll touch them with electronic charge to the wire, and it'll shoot the rockets off, and the black powder go off, and it'll just shoot the net out over the turkeys.
This ought to be too wild. That's why we brought the camera and you along with us here on the 50 Cent Tour with the TWRA today. We're going to follow these fellas as they set up this net. Now, what are you going to do with these turkeys, hopefully, if we get them?
We'll put them in boxes and we'll carry them to a place that we're going to transplant them. Some places in counties that we don't have turkeys, or areas we don't have turkeys, and we'll be swapping some turkeys around here in Lincoln County also.
So they don't end up at Colonel Sanders or anything?
No, no, not unless one of them gets in the way of the net, sticks his head up.
Well, and that may happen. We just don't know.
I've had one that we've killed in about the 10 years that I've been trapping.
Lincoln County is a very popular place for restocking the entire state, isn't it?
It very well is, Pete. We kill more turkeys here every year than every county in the state except one.
Now, you folks here that are watching this in Lincoln County, especially you turkey hunters, are very aware that the area that you're able to hunt turkeys in has just expanded in the county.
It has in this county. It did last year, and we're opening up other counties around Lincoln County also. In fact, most of the counties in the state are now open for turkey hunting.
All right, and it all starts right here in Lincoln County. Once again, another Lincoln County first. We're trapping turkeys today on the 50 Cent Tour. Stay with us. So Steve, kind of explain what we're looking at here, and Jim kind of show us what we're doing.
All right, what we're going to do here, this box contains our net, and it's a net that we have to take out and put carefully back in there so that it'll come out in a proper way, which is to shoot out in a fan-shaped motion. And these are what we call rockets, and these will have a black powder charge in them, and we'll put the black powder inside the like this. It's just a canister, and holes in the back to let it go out, and we put that in there, and you set it down upon this platform like this. Set it down in this manner, and then you attach the chain to some ropes that we have tied to the nets. And these are weights that we tie also onto the net to keep it from going too far. And you'll tie these on the back end, and you'll have these on the front end. And when the turkeys are out here in front of us feeding on the bait, like I said a while ago, we'll touch the charge off, and these rockets will shoot out and go over that way and pull the net out of this box.
What are we doing here, Steve?
Well, just taking the top off the box here, Pete. We keep it tied up to keep it kind of neat. Everything has to be perfect on this net. If it's not, then it'll come out and get knotted up or hung up, and then you've wasted 3 or 4 days' work, sometimes a week's work. You might sit on the turkeys even after you've got them on bait for as much as a week and not even see one. They're very unpredictable. So we want everything to work right when we hit the charge and make it go. If it doesn't work right, then we wasted a lot of time. First thing we'll do is take these drag lines out. What this does is slow the net down and keep it from going too far. We've got window weights that we'll tie on the end of those. It just keeps the net from going too far, basically, is all that the weights do.
Now folks, this is Jim Vaughn. He's been the man in the woods more or less. And Jim, you're across the creek. What are you doing over there?
Well, basically what we're trying to do, Pete, is try to locate the area where the turkeys come into the field. If we can do that, then we can pretty much tell where to set up the net to, you know, cause the birds the least amount of distress. If they don't see the net or the box until the last second, then we have a lot better chance of catching a bigger number of birds.
So are you looking for trails or raisins?
Well, both. This hard ground makes it pretty hard to track them, so the best bet's trying to locate the droppings where the birds have crossed the creek.
So that's Jim Vaughn with the TWRA, and he's looking for how the turkeys access this corner of the field, because it's very important, they say, to know what direction they're coming from so they don't get spooked. It's a beautiful area here. We're near Petersburg, Tennessee. Petersburg, Tennessee, place I'm proud to call my hometown. This is a beautiful area. In fact, I think my favorite area in the whole world. I live right over that ridge there, and I'm certainly glad to hear that these fellas are doing this operation in my neck of the woods.
Okay, Pete, what we're doing now is we're hooking the net up to the rockets. This net's packed so that the front of the net's on the top of the box, or the front of the box right here. We've already put the drag lines down to slow it down. Now we're hooking up what takes the net out over the bait. We have to get the bait the exact distance from the net that we know the net will drop on it. We have to catch the birds when they've got their heads down. If we don't, or if we let birds get right in here close to the box when we shoot, then there's a chance of killing birds. And like I said, I hadn't killed but one bird in the quite a few years that I've been doing this, and it happened to be a tame bird anyway that had just taken up with the wild turkeys. So apparently they're quick enough and they duck fast enough that the net doesn't get them, but the tame bird wasn't fast enough.
So turkeys duck?
Duck, hide, dodge, whatever.
They're so, like he said, they're so quick that you have to catch them with their head down feeding, because if you shoot the net off and they've got their heads up like this, they can get out from under the net before it settles on them. That's how fast they are.
Now show us what's packed in this thing. Let's get down here and look at this real close.
This is just a huge net. It's about 20 by 20 square. And we have to pack it in this triangle-shaped box. What we used to do was string the net out on the ground and put drive posts in the ground and hang these rockets on those posts. But this is a lot easier to transport, and in fact it deploys the net just about as easy and just about as uniformly as stretching it out across the ground did. It keeps the net from freezing, it keeps it from getting it wet. If it does get wet and freeze, then it doesn't work properly. So this works a whole lot better for us. We picked this up from another state in the southeast. I can't remember which state it was, or I'd give them credit, but we copied this from one of the other state wildlife agencies, and it works rather well.
Now the 3 units on top, put your hands on those and let's show folks, those are the actual cannons themselves.
Right, these are the rockets themselves. What the charge is inside those, and we'll hook the wires up on them and run them up to the truck where we can wait and watch for the turkeys to come. Hopefully they'll come, and when they do, then we'll set them off. Pete, what we're doing now is we're running the wire up to where we'll have the truck setting. We'll be setting up towards the barn there. We don't have any way to set this off by remote control or anything, so we have to physically have a wire. Sometimes that causes problems. You get breaks in the wire. I've had cattle and horses step on the wire and cut it. One time we had birds on bait. It would not shoot. We had to sneak down and wire the thing back together and then shoot. So the wire sometimes is a drawback, but that's the only way we can do it right now. What I've got right here, Pete, I've got one of the charges that we put in the rocket nets. It's basically howitzer powder with a little sack of black powder right here. The way I found out it was black powder was when these things get old, we'll usually destroy them by burning them where they don't mess up or get in somebody else's hands that could get hurt by them. Well, I was the one that got hurt that time. I thought it was all smokeless powder, and basically with smokeless powder you can stick a cigarette lighter to it and it takes a few seconds for it to ignite. Well, I found out this is black powder, and when you touch a cigarette lighter to black powder, then it totally explodes in your face, and it burnt my hand up pretty good. Worst burn I've ever had in my life. So anybody that fools with black powder, don't try and burn it. It just doesn't work very well.
That's good advice, huh?
The way we put these in, just unscrew this. Really need to clean that out. We shot this morning. Have to kind of knead it down in there. It's a little bigger than the rocket is. And when we get it so far, we can tap it down in there. Then we'll take the wire and run it through the back part of the rocket here. And screw the chain holder on it.
That's quite a bit of powder there, Steve.
Well, tomorrow morning you'll find out that it makes quite a boom too, so be holding your camera real tight when we tell you that we're fixing to go with it, because it might just jar you out of the barn.
So that literally just serves as a projectile and pulls the net out of the box.
That's basically it. It's just a slow projectile. It's half rocket and half bullet at the same time.
Now, Steve, how do you know the turkeys are going to come to this field out here in the middle of nowhere?
We don't. All we know is what we've seen on the bait. We came in this morning after we shot on our other site, transported the birds, and found that they'd cleaned the bait up sometime early this morning. Found a lot of droppings. That's what we look for. That's what Jim was looking for, is the droppings. We can actually tell most of the time what sex the turkeys are by the shape of the droppings also. So hopefully they'll be here. It's not a sure thing. On the site that we shot on this morning, we sat there yesterday too, and the turkeys didn't show up. They stayed in the trees maybe 500 or 600 yards from us and never did come to the bait. But then they ran in on it this morning.
Well, Steve, I'm hoping for the best. I think I called you Jim earlier. Sorry about that.
No, I think you called me Steve.
Well, good, good. We're just hoping now. What? Any kind of special corn you're using for bait, or?
No, a lot of times we'll have to use cracked corn because the deer get on it so bad that they'll clean it up and run the turkeys off. So a lot of times we have to crack it. We hadn't had that problem here.
All right. So we're hoping that the turkeys will roost somewhere up there, and tomorrow morning be here for breakfast. And
hopefully so.
With any luck, that's how it'll go. Stay with us here on the 50-cent tour. We are trapping turkeys for redistribution all over the state of Tennessee with the TWRA. Now, fellas, tell the folks what they're seeing here.
Well, they're looking at us. At the moment, we're about, what, 500 yards away?
And 6 or 7.
Or 6 or 7.
And what we're looking at now is we just got done baiting the turkey trap, and what you're seeing now is turkeys way off up there on the hill. Let me give you some idea about how far away those turkeys are. Of course, you're looking through a telephoto lens, but our trap is there, and the turkeys are there. We're going to get out of here and let them get roosted down and get some rest. And we'll be back. We'll see you boys in the morning.
That'll be a shot.
Well, it's bright and early the next morning.
Morning, Pete.
Good morning, Steve.
Chilly this morning, isn't it?
Sure is. I was wondering why turkeys couldn't get up around noon.
That'd be real good if they did.
Well, good morning. And we'll soon be underway. This is anything but a 9-to-5 job. Actually, it's closer to 5 to 9, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, a whole lot closer.
Now, what are you doing there, Steve?
Well, I've got to wire all these charges together, Pete.
So it probably wouldn't be smart for me to be standing in front of that.
No, especially when I've got these wires apart, because the radio transmission could actually set it off. In fact, it'd probably be best if you weren't even past that rope right there, because it could scoop you up too.
Thanks for the friendly advice. Well, folks, it's about 20 minutes till 6 in the morning. And that's all I see too. It's dark out here. Jim Hanna and Jim Vaughn are on their way. And hopefully we have turkeys roosting in the trees behind us. As it gets lighter, we'll show you that.
That's the ideal situation, to have them on roost. Of course, we saw them late yesterday afternoon, right before we left. And hopefully they came on down and are roosting in those trees. But then again, we might not see them for a week.
Well, that was really neat how we saw them as we were leaving last night. And there were plenty of them up there. We saw some deer run by too up on top of that ridge.
There's supposed to be about 100 birds in this flock. Now, they might be in 2 smaller flocks, but from the information we have, there's around 100 birds. Turkeys tend to gather up during the winter. A lot of that's to conserve heat. Plus, they can usually find a lot more food if they've got 100 or 200 feet scratching the ground than if there's just a few of them. Okay, Pete, as long as nobody's hooked the battery up to the other end of this wire, then we'll be all right when I touch these two together. Okay. We had a biologist one day that was hooking one of these up, and we were on AEDC. They're in a training area where the National Guard trains. And I found some M16 blanks laying on the ground. And by coincidence, and I stress by coincidence, I tried one of them out in my rifle about the same time that he touched the last wire together, and needless to say, he nearly had a heart attack. He thought it'd gone up. Now these weights are frozen to the ground. We'll have to check all that.
And now we have recruits.
If everything's not exactly perfect, then you run into real problems. Things just don't work correctly.
You more or less only get one shot at this.
You get one chance, and that's it. You've got to take that extra time to make sure it's all just right.
Well, it is a beautiful morning, and as you can see, the sun isn't up yet. I'm in a Ford Bronco with Mr. Steve Fox of the TWRA. And Steve, you had a last-minute short circuit there. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we've got about 200 yards of wire stretched out, and figured that the short was in the wire, but it worked out it was in one of the charges. So thank goodness we've got these galvanometers. You can't use a regular ohm meter. They put out enough energy that they might set the charges off, so we have to use a special galvanometer, kind of like a blaster's ohm meter. And we tested it, and it showed bad, so we ran it down and found a break in the wire and replaced one of the charges. Thank goodness we had an extra one with us.
Well, it's early, and as you can see, just silhouettes up on the ridge, and Now the interesting part begins. I imagine once you see the turkeys on the field, it's just hard to hold back your excitement.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the adrenaline even starts pumping. It's just like hunting, you know. I used to be a real big hunter, and I can remember how it was, and this is my type of hunting now.
All right, we're here, and we're glad you joined us here on the 50 Cent Tour.
Well, folks, the reason we're being quiet is the black dots in the middle of your screen are turkeys roosting in the trees, aren't they, Steve?
Yeah, we've got about 60 of them up there, Pete.
That's them, the black dots in the middle of your screen. You kind of see them there.
They're not but about 400 yards away from us. Hopefully all this commotion hadn't spooked them, so hopefully they'll come right down to the corn.
The tension builds. There they are. Boy, y'all set up that trap in the right place.
Well, of course, we fooled with that for about 2 weeks, really. Getting it to work exactly where we wanted it and trying to get the birds on bait.
We're waiting for the turkeys to come out of the trees, but there they are, big as life. There's a whole slew of them up there in the trees. There's some more right there.
Here they go, Pete. They're flying down. There's a fly down cackle.
I got him.
The problem is they're flying down to the other side.
Flying down into the woods behind it.
Yep. They're flying down to the other side. I don't know if we got too many vehicles out here, or they might just.
Steve, we've been hearing them all morning.
Yeah, Pete, they hadn't moved, but about 200 yards from where they were. They're moving the wrong way.
That's them way up on top of that ridge. They're right up on top now. Now, why do you reckon they're up on top and not at the bottom there?
I don't know. It kind of bothered me when they flew that way, when they flew off roost. We might be too much out in the open. They might not be used to these trucks. I didn't think it'd matter because the farmer's usually messing around here a lot. He said they don't pay any attention to him. Might just have too many vehicles out here or something. Might have to try it a different way.
Well, you could sure see them right up on that ridge. They're quite a distance away right now. But what looks like a whole line of them moving up there.
Yeah,
That's
they're
them.
moving the wrong way.
The wrong way. Boy.
We'll just have to wait and see what they do. We'll stick it out a little bit longer and see which way they turn. If they go over the top of the hill on us, then we'll probably just try and make it another day.
Yeah, at least it's not like breaking rocks. We've been here several hours. We've heard them all morning, and we just spotted them finally. We've had crows and sparrows and magpies and mockingbirds and everything else to visit, except we haven't had those fowls up there. To give you an idea of how far away those are, I'm going to back off the camera here and show you. I mean, they're way up there, folks. Now, what you're looking through here is a telephoto lens. Believe me, they're way up there. And if it weren't for this telephoto lens, we wouldn't even get you the picture we have now. And now I want to come down, I'm going to show you where that net is.
in the corner of a field. There's the field. And right over there is the magic box.
Right now they're about 700 or 800 yards away from us. And still moving in the wrong direction.
Well, it happens that way sometimes. There are no guarantees here on the 50-cent tour.
It's amazing to me, as cold as it was this morning and yesterday also, that they're actually finding grubs and worms just a little bit under the ground.
Steve, somebody's got to tell them that the good stuff's down here.
I don't know what the problem is, Pete. There might be so many insects. We've had such a warm winter so far that the insect population is so high. I noticed in a lot of the drop-ins here on these birds, they're different from what we were seeing on our other site. Because they're eating so many insects. The drop-ins are extremely black, real dark, where if they were eating grains, the drop-ins would be more green and gray and white. So they're getting a real rich diet. In fact, a little bit too rich for them by the looks of the drop-ins.
Well, that corn's starting to look good to me.
Yeah, wait till you've sat out here all day.
Stevie cracked corn and I don't care. We'll continue to keep an eye out, folks. Stay with us. Steve, it looks like that's the only bird we're going to get close to today.
Yeah, it's a couple of little bluebirds.
Yeah.
In fact, there's 3 of them there. One just flew down the ditch. There he is. There's another one sitting on the fence post. Those steel fence posts right there were the demise of the bluebirds. If you'll scan over to the left, where that one's sitting on the wire there, you'll see some holes that are in that wooden fence post there. Scan to your left.
Oh, let me get over here. There we go.
See the holes right there beside the bluebird?
There we
you
are.
go.
Yeah.
Go down a little lower there.
Yeah.
The holes are right there nearly in the center of the screen.
Got them.
That's what they nest in, is those woodpecker holes. When everybody started going to metal fence posts, that was the demise of the bluebird.
No kidding.
Nobody could figure out why you couldn't see any bluebirds. There goes one. They've got a nest. They're fixing a nest in there.
Right in the hole.
Right in there. That's why people started putting up bluebird boxes. We found out that the nesting was the problem.
How
They didn't
about
have
that?
any place to nest. They want open areas like this field here, where they can catch insects. Now he's popped back out. Sitting right in the hole there. There are a lot of people that are really interested in bluebirds. Some of them don't know quite as much as they should, though. They'll put nest boxes just all along their fence rows. You've probably seen that before, where they're just everywhere. You really don't need to have them within 100 yards of each other, because the bluebirds will actually fight. They're territorial. If you get too many nesting too close together, it can cause problems with reproduction.
I'm sure glad we caught that on video. Well, folks, the turkeys have more or less gone over the hill. What do you do in a case like this?
You come back tomorrow morning, Pete.
I'll be here, buddy. Bright and early. Now, what do you do with the charges down there in the box in the corner?
We'll disconnect all that just to make them safe. It's a little bit too dangerous, even though we're in an isolated area. Somebody could get to messing with them, so we'll take those out. Make them safe.
All right, there it is. So if at first you don't succeed, try again. Well, Jim Vaughn, what's the plan of attack?
Well, I think we can give it up today. Evidently the birds got too nervous with all the activity. We'll just have to regroup and try it again in the morning.
Now, we noticed several times a red-tailed hawk flying right over the birds.
Yeah, it didn't seem to bother them because they didn't move, cover enough ground fast enough to be real nervous. I'd say all the activity, maybe us just having to go back and rewire the box may have been enough to make them go the other direction.
Now, here's what the turkey sees. We're about in front of the trap, and you can see the tops of those trucks. Oh, don't mind us. Just coming along here to get a little corn. Oh, what's that little box there? Hey. Oh, nothing. That must be the corn dispenser they're thinking.
But we didn't fool them this morning. We didn't fool them this morning, did we?
Sure didn't. We'll try it again in the morning, though.
All right. Jim Hanna will be out here bright and early.
Yes, real bright and real early.
Welcome back to the 50-cent tour. I'm with Jim Hanna here. Jim's behind the camera. What you're looking at now is the second morning of turkey trapping here in Lincoln County, Tennessee. And those little black dots in the center of your screen, those are turkeys, Jim, up in the trees.
Yeah, looks like we got about probably 80 birds up there in the trees, Pete, and it's coming up, getting daylight pretty good, so it won't be but a few minutes till they'll start flying down out of the trees, and hopefully they'll come over there and get some breakfast.
Well, folks, it's kind of still halfway between day and dark out here, but we thought we'd turn on the camera and let you see what we see. Today we're trying to be a little smarter. We have the entire truck camouflaged, and we look like a big piece of shrub, Jim. You can see the camouflage over the windshield. We have a telephoto lens on, so I can't get you a great shot of it, but we'll look at it later. But what I can show you are turkeys in the trees. Stay with us. We plan to shoot a big old net over them with black powder charges set out there in the field, and we're glad you're a part of this morning here on the 50-cent tour. We are still waiting here in the Tennessee woods. What you're seeing there is turkeys in the trees. And Jim, there seems to be a little brighter one. All the other turkeys look dark. What is that white one doing up there?
Well, the white one has got some domestic blood in it. We usually have domestic birds will get out and get with the white birds. There is a what's called a silver phase of a wild turkey, which would be a kind of a grayish looking bird, and you could still see the patterns on the feathers, but they'd be grayish white. This one is probably a domestic bird that's got in with the wild flock, and that's the reason it stands out different.
Now that hurts the flock, and those will be thinned out, right?
Yeah, we don't want the domestic birds mixing in with the wild birds because they dilute the genes, and they make them more susceptible to disease and so forth. They change their wild characteristics, and we don't want that. We want them to stay as wild as we can.
Well, if these birds are half as wild as you are, it's going to be one day.
I don't know about that.
We're looking at wild turkeys in the trees. And we have a trap set down here in the corner of this field, and we'll show you that once again. Right down there in the corner, that little black box, that is a net, and right there, and inside of that is black powder charges and net, and we're waiting for those turkeys to fly down and eat the corn in front of that. So stay with us. Here we go. Golly, you getting them? Folks, they're flying down as we speak. Here they come.
Well, hey, Mark. Hey, Mark. They all just flew down. They're all out in the middle of the pasture now. Here comes the last one.
Turkeys have landed, and we're waiting to get them. We'll bring them to you as soon as we see them on the ground.
Yes, we do, Pete. We've got about 90 of them out there, I believe. And at the moment, they're feeding on down the gully toward our baited area. Got about 75 yards to go, probably.
The suspense is killing me.
Yes, this is what...
Folks, we're going to quiet on down and just let you watch this, because these birds have some good hearing.
Well, let's hope they can't hear us here in the truck, but they do have exceptional hearing and exceptional eyesight. It's turning out like there's some corn out here. Yeah, there's plenty of corn. Okay, they're almost there. They're almost there, Mark. Look at them go.
Oh, they're hungry. Oh, don't mind this little black box. It's nothing.
Can you rate?
Okay, Pete, looks like we're getting in the neighborhood. We're getting about ready to shoot here.
Fire away.
If I can catch them when a bunch of them have got their heads down here. All right, we're ready.
This ought to be a kick.
3, 2, 1.
We have turkey blast off. Look at them fly.
Go, go, we got a bunch of them.
Here we go, folks.
Looks like a successful hunt. Mark McNeese down there at the nets. Wow, what an explosion. A successful blast, fellers.
Oh yeah, bunch of them, wasn't there?
Good morning, Tim. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, morning. Good morning. All right, time to get some bunches. Pete, you see any look like they're going to come out on the edge? Just kind of put your foot there on the net.
I'll do it. Wild turkeys, folks. Here's one of those domestic mixed birds right here. Here come the recruits. Hannah, what's the next step?
Well, the next step, Pete, is, as you can see, we're getting our boxes ready. And then we'll be taking them out one by one out into, and putting them in these boxes, and then we'll be transporting them over to another area in the state.
It's turkeys to go here in Lincoln County. That blast was something to see.
Down here. All right, we're ready.
This ought to be a kick.
3, 2, 1.
We have turkey blast off. Look at them fly.
Go, go, we got a bunch of them. 2, 1.
We have turkey blast off. Look at them fly. What do they do when you set them on their back? They mellow out?
No, I'm just trying to tangle them up in the net so he won't defeather himself flopping around in the net.
I bet they're wondering what's going on. It's moving day, boys. Oh, I bet you the turkey hunters that sit in the woods for hours just for one turkey are loving this video. In fact, that's why we shot it, for y'all.
They was there. That was a good shot. They was a big clump of them all in around the corn. And
so yesterday when they flew off, they went back up.
yeah,
We didn't see them.
when they flew off today, they flew way out in the middle of that.
Yeah.
And then they just came right straight down here to the bay.
Okay, Jim, if you want to back record it, man, Jim will do about this.
Reason I shot when I did.
Yeah. We need to mark him in a separate box. Yeah, you would. I've got 2 or 3 in the water right here.
4 inch.
2 good gobblers right here.
Mark McNeese, I only have one question.
What's that?
Where's the dressing?
Where's the dressing?
Hopefully we won't need any dressing. Let's see, 1924, 1924.
So when these turkeys are harvested at a later date, they'll know exactly where they came from.
Right.
A little fashion jewelry, courtesy of the TWRA. Of course, those numbers on that band really help you in your restocking process, don't they?
Yeah, they help us to keep a record on movements of the birds, and you know, if something happens to one of them and it gets killed or by accident or by a hunter, either one, then we'll have a record of where it was at, where it was taken, and so forth.
Yeah, I believe you caught 20 of them.
Huh?
looks like. He ain't got no beard, does he?
No, he is beginning to. See, this is what we call a young gobbler. This is a Jake. He's got the beginning of his beard right there, about 1 inch long. Maybe it would be a good idea to put him in there like that, would it?
No. If you wait just 1 second, I'll put both work together on this.
All right.
We messed around and got too many at one time, didn't we?
Yeah, we got one too many. What's your number there?
1048.
Jake?
Yeah.
All right.
Pinch me also. Last picture.
They're pretty mellow once you get a hold of them, Mark.
Sometimes.
They're not, we were talking about this earlier, Pete, they're not near as excitable as geese. The geese would keep on fighting, and geese would keep on fighting and trying to get away, but as you can tell, they're pretty well settled down now.
Okay. You can stand that box up. I'll try to hold it. That's 1048.
Could you put some fries in there and we'll be on our way.
What?
48.
Turkey adventure?
My second.
Your second?
Yep.
How'd your first one go?
Pretty good. We caught 13 birds. So,
Now Tim, what's your last name?
Hancock.
And what county do you work in normally?
I'm assigned in Franklin County.
All right. So all our friends up in Winchester, hello.
That's right. I transferred down here from Hawkins County up in East Tennessee. Been up there chasing bears.
Chasing bears?
Yeah.
I imagine the hardware is a little more extensive for those.
A little bit more, yeah. A little more trivial.
Well, you call me next time, we'll take the 50-cent tour and look for some bears in the woods. Well, now I might just film from the truck on that day.
Yeah. Might be a little bit safer.
What was this?
I thought those bears didn't bite much.
That was not too bad.
1924.
Not as bad as they scratch.
Huh?
Not as bad as they scratch.
This is 1050.
With their leg getting much bigger?
No.
How old are these birds, Jim?
They're last year's birds. The Jake is kind of a euphemism for a juvenile bird.
What's your number?
1050 is 10.
I believe these things are as fast as a quail. Yeah.
Go ahead and dig one out, Tim.
There's Squire Fox, you can tell by them wrist feathers.
Quite a chore getting them untangled.
Yeah, it is. As you can tell over there where those three of them are, they get in it and then they twist and roll, and they're hard to get out sometimes. Plus you have to find out where the bottom of the net is.
Larry, Curly, and Mo.
Yes.
Settle down, boys.
Mark, you have a chore on your hands here.
Yeah, these are knotted up pretty good.
Boy, I see why you fool with this now. Golly. Is that a good one? What's the combination on this?
Now you just be still. Don't just get excited. That's a hen. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Pete, this is a young hen, and the way you can tell a young hen is by the breast feathers. The breast feathers on a young hen are going to be rounded, and they're going to be brown like that on the tip. And a coal, see how these are all brown on the tip there? See how those are all brown on the tip? Okay, that makes it a hen. And if it was a young gobbler, they'd be straight across and it'd be black, like this. See, here's the, I don't know if you can tell it from the camera. See the difference there? All right, you see the black in my left hand here? How it's black across the whole tip of it? Now that's a young gobbler, off the breast of a young gobbler there. And the one in my right hand is off this hen here. And it's got some brown tips on it. And it's more rounded than this one, being square across.
Thank you for the feather lesson.
Okay. 1948.
Shows on it, Mark.
A few more birds and they'll have several turkeys to go. And we're going to take you to the release of them here on the 50-cent tour as well. The last 2 birds in the net, or 3 birds.
Yeah.
Well, they are a beautiful bird though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
That's a gobbler right there, isn't it?
Yes. There's supposed to be a way to get underneath this net and get him out.
We got twine here. Okay, I'll put it on gas here.
Got him kind of backwards, Pete. Get him?
Yeah.
You can always tell which way they're coming out. This is next.
Little bigger bird there.
Yeah, this is the biggest one we've gotten here, Pete. And he's a big gobbler. Put in this little box.
Let's put 4 of those. Let's take 2 gobblers and 2 jakes and put them on last back there.
Packing her away for another day?
Well, we'll have to take it out. This is just temporary. We'll have to take it out again. Take all the feathers and all the
Sticks and debris
sticks and stuff out of it.
So that it'll open smoothly.
A stick like that will just keep it from opening. And feathers.
And what we have left is a big patch of souvenirs, huh?
Yeah, reminders of another day.
Wow.
Think we can sell it to the Indians?
Probably.
Tim, I think we ought to give you a new name, a new Indian name, Feathers in Hand.
Feathers in Hand?
Yes.
Been called worse.
Well, we can make one dynamite pillow with all this down. Remnants of a successful turkey adventure here in Lincoln County. And we are certainly glad you could be with us. We are going to drive a few hours and show you the release. So stay with us here on the 50 Cent Tour. Well, folks, this is the end of the road for us and the beginning of the road for the turkeys we trapped this morning, Jim. Tell the folks generally where we're at.
Well, we're still in Middle Tennessee. We're just a couple of counties over from Lincoln County there where we trap the birds. This is a site where we're going to release a full stocking of birds. In this case, a full stocking of birds would be 12 hens and 4 gobblers. And as you can see, after you show the background here, I guess with the camera, it's mostly woods and some open fields. It's real good habitat, and hopefully they'll do real well here.
Now, this is the end of your stocking program for Coffee County then. This is the final batch for us.
Yeah, we think so. As far as we know, this should finish us up here in the county.
Well, we're glad to be a part of this, Jim, and of course we thank you for allowing us to do the 50 Cent Tour with you.
Okay.
It was a real adventure, fella.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and we've had some good luck again, haven't we?
I tell you what.
Just don't forget something, you know.
What's that?
My 50 cents.
as is on the show, I'm going to have to owe you.
Oh,
you got change for a 20?
No.
I'll get him. Trust me on that one, folks.
Okay.
Folks, we're going to let you just sit back and enjoy as we release these. But for now, I'm going to say thanks for tuning us in once again to the 50 Cent Tour. Wild time in Lincoln County once again. Thanks.
Always got one.
See them hitting on the ground down yonder, Pete?
Are they getting reorganized?
Yeah. Works perfectly.
So far.
You got them headed the right direction. Looks like they're all flying off in good shape too, Pete.